Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here as always. So we have a bit of a risque story to talk about here. So Edgar Wright is eyed to direct Sydney Sweeney's Barbarella Remake with a superhero experienced writer also on board. So it looks like this project is coming together, and it looks like Sydney Sweeney is going to be obviously the lead actress on this. And there's a lot of people that love Sydney Sweeney. She's a very hot upcoming actress. Hot meaning that, like, you know, she's doing a lot of projects, you know, she's really building her talent, honing her craft, becoming a great actress, and the woman is just absolutely beautiful to look at. Let's not be coy about it. So her being in this movie is going to drive a lot of people to definitely be interested in what this project has to offer. So guys, this article comes to us from comicflicknews.com. So, the critical and commercial success of films like Anyone But You and Immaculate has paved the way for Sydney Sweeney to transition smoothly from Madam Web to her upcoming Barbarella remake at Sony Pictures. So, for those of you who aren't sure what Barbarella is, it's kind of like this old sci-fi classic. I believe it came out in the 60s. It has like erotic themes. It's very risque kind of overtones to it. You know, naked lady, busty kind of temptress, blonde, busty temptress, if you like. I'm not sure how else to explain it, but yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the original Barbarella, do go and check it out. By today's standards, it's kind of a trashy movie. Trashy in terms of not being very good, and trashy in terms of its kind of erotic, risque kind of tones as well. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of lackluster in my opinion, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. And one of those classical sci-fi kind of movies that came out in the 60s, you know, when that was kind of all the rage. So according to Deadline, via the sci-fi and fantasy gazette.com, Edgar Wright, known for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, awesome movie. Last Night in Soho, again, that was an awesome movie, is officially in talks to direct. Jane Goldman, renowned for her work on Kick-Ass, absolutely love the first Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, one of the best comic book movies ever made in my opinion, and The Kingsman Secret Service, that wasn't so well received, along with her daughter Honey, are being considered to pen the screenplay. If negotiations go well, Jane and Honey will co-write the script with Edgar Wright. So yeah, this is great. Having Edgar Wright, I think he's a great director. Having him on board for this project is great. But I just wonder what they're going to do with it, because this movie is so old-fashioned. It's so campy in its tone. If you updated it for today's modern audiences, I'm not sure what you could do with this without offending the kind of the woke mob coming after you. And, you know, it's treating women like meat, and, you know, like risque and clad women, naked women, it's not acceptable in today's society. So, you know, it's going to get a lot of backlash, but at the same time, you know, Sydney Sweeney starring in it is going to get a lot of people interested for all the right reasons. So we have a picture here. Obviously, this is Jane Fonda, the original actress from the original Barbarella movie. And then we have Sydney Sweeney, obviously, here on the right. And you can see just the comparison look between the two actresses here. You know, they actually really do look alike in a lot of ways. Long blonde hair, you know, their kind of slim figure, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go any further because you know, we could go into further description, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, you can see how similar they look. Sydney Sweeney's perfect. She's been honing her craft. She's becoming a great actress. I don't think she's quite there yet, but given a few more years, I think that she's going to be a really good actress, and one to definitely follow as her career kind of goes on an upward trajectory. And I think she could do something very interesting with this character in this movie. What that is, or what that's going to look like, I have no idea. But I'm still color me interested for sure. So Sweeney, who will portray Barbarella, is one of Hollywood's busiest rising stars. Yeah, she seems to be all over the place. But she does run the risk of, like, falling into the Pedro Pascal and Dwayne The Rock Johnson kind of hole where they're oversaturated. They're kind of in every single TV show and movie and all over the place, and people begin to get a bit sick and tired of seeing the same actor in the same movies over and over. It becomes oversaturated, and I hope that doesn't happen to Sydney Sweeney, her being just oversaturated in everything. But again, we'll have to see how that plays out. So, Wright, currently preparing for the Running Man reboot, starring Sweeney, Anyone But You co-star Glenn Powell, suggests the project is still some time away from hitting theatres. So, it doesn't look like we're going to get it anytime soon, maybe possibly within the next 5 years or so. So, Wright has been eyeing for the project for some time, the trade explains, having met with Sweeney shortly after the project was announced, but committing only recently to develop it as a potential directing venture. So, reflecting on the project back in March, Sweeney shared her excitement. So, Sydney Sweeney went on to say this about the Barbarella remake. I mean, Barbarella is just such a fun character to explore. She really just embraces her femininity and her sexuality, and I love that. She uses sex as a weapon. Guys, if you haven't seen the actual original Barbarella, that tells you everything you need to know right there. She uses sex as a weapon. That's all you kind of need to know, really. And I think it's such an interesting way into the sci-fi world. I've always wanted to do sci-fi, so we'll see what happens. And obviously, Sydney Sweeney here, and on the right, you can see the image of Barbarella here. I'll blow it up so we get a full look at this image. You can see it's kind of got this really classic 50s, 60s sci-fi overtones. Back then, you know, everything was sci-fi, aliens and the end of the world and robots and all of that kind of classic sci-fi stuff that you think about fondly when it comes to the kind of infancy of, you know, theaters and movie productions back in the 50s and 60s. And this is exactly right on point with that kind of tone of campiness and the sci-fi-ness. But can they update it? Can they make it great? Can they do something inventive and creative and fresh with it? I'm not really sure. But as I said, if, you know, the woke mob is going to come after this movie hard, you just know, you know, they're going to say that, you know, it's putting women in a bad light, you know, and all this kind of stuff. You just know this is going to happen. But that's neither here nor there. So, Barbarella, a fictional character created by French comic book writer Jean-Claude Forest, first appeared in the French comic Barbarella, serialized in V Magazine in 1962, before being published as a graphic novel. As a futurist space adventure and interstellar agent from the 41st century, Barbarella navigates various planets, encountering strange beings and situations, often depicted in a highly sexualized and psychedelic manner. Yeah, it's just risque, kind of all over the place, erotic overtones, like I've already said, guys. Do go back and check out the original Barbarella movie, if that's your kind of thing. That kind of campy, erotic, kind of sci-fi misadventure, if you like. It is kind of fun, but yeah, it's kind of trashy and campy at the same time, as I've already said. So the character gained international fame with the 1968 film. So it did come out in the 60s, not the 50s. I couldn't remember if it was 50s or 60s. Same sort of time period, isn't it, really? Adaptation directed by Roger Vadim. Starred Jane Fonda in the titular role. Although not a huge success upon release, the movie has since become a cult classic, celebrated for its campy style, erotic themes, and iconic visuals. Iconic visuals, I'll just leave it at that, but you can guess what that means. So let's just leave that there. But yeah, obviously we got the Barbarella trailer here, guys. We've been playing parts of the Barbarella trailer as we've been talking about the movie and kind of what's going on with it. And you can kind of by now get a kind of a taste of what this movie is about and what it looks like. So if it does interest you, go and check out the whole movie for yourselves, guys. Are you excited about a Barbarella remake? Let us know in the comment section below. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are watching who have never even heard of this project. I mean, it came out in the 60s, late 60s, and I'm sure there's a whole generation of people that have never even heard of this. I mean, because it's so old-fashioned and so kind of niche in that old sci-fi campy style. But guys, that's kind of where we are. So it looks like Edgar Wright is going to potentially be attached to this project with Sydney Sweeney, one of the hottest kind of upcoming actresses in Hollywood, going to be in the titular role. And it looks like they've got their writers as well, which is a mother and daughter kind of combo who have worked on X-Men First Class, The Kingsman, and the Kick-Ass movie, which is, I think, is really exciting to have all of that kind of combination in that recipe. We could be in for a surprise, and it could end up being something great. But guys, jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Is it something you're interested in watching? A Barbarella remake with Sydney Sweeney? Is it something that sounds good? Do you think it sounds trashy? As always, guys, thank you so much for being here and watching this video. If you do enjoy my content, please hit that like and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping me and my channel, and you'll get more of these videos popping up on your feed. And thank you again, guys. I'll see you in the next one.